Triangle sum theorem for 8th grade. Find the measure of each angle indicated. As we found out in our activity earlier, the three angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So if you have two of the angles, you can subtract them from 180 to find the angle that's missing. I like to add the two angles together first. So this will be 103 degrees for both of these angles together. I'm sorry, 113, I added that wrong. And then what we will do, since all three add up to 180 degrees, is I will subtract that from 180. And we get 67 degrees. And don't forget to put a degree symbol on your angle. That's very important. What's sometimes confusing is they'll put this little box in the corner of a shape and expect us to remember what it means. And what it means is that that is a right angle. So that means that that angle is 90 degrees, even though it wasn't marked with the 90. So if I add those two together, 90 and 60 make 150, and then 180 minus the 150 means that that remaining angle has to be 30 degrees. So if I wanted to check, I could take all three of these and add them up, make sure that they add up to 180. All right, so those are the simpler problems. Now we're going to add in a little bit of algebra. So on 3 and 4, it just says to solve for x, which is part of this angle, but not the whole thing. So we are just going to add these three things together. So I'm going to write 24x plus 21 plus 135. So angle, angle, angle equals 180 degrees. And what we've done is we've created an algebraic equation. So to solve, first we're going to combine like terms over here on the left side. So I'll bring down my 24x, and this will be 156, so plus 156 equals 180. Now it's a two-step equation. We're going to subtract 156 from both sides, bring down the 24x, and just really quick show you that's going to be 24. So divide by 24, and we get x equals 1. Now if it's asking for x, which is part of an angle, some books will leave the degrees off and some of them will add a degree. Either way is acceptable to me. They did not ask us to actually find this angle. We could, it'd be 24 times 1, so it'd be 24 degrees. They just wanted us to find x. So let's try another one. So over here, we're going to have x plus 74 plus 41 plus another 74. And remember that those three angles always add up to 180. So I have three constants here to add together. Let me use my calculator to do that really quick. Okay, so I'm going to have x plus 189 equals 180. So to solve, I'll subtract 189 from both sides, and I will get x equals -9. So this doesn't mean that the angle's negative, because you would have to add it to the 74, which would come out positive degrees, but x, which is part of that angle, can be negative. Okay, so the final section of these examples now says we're going to find the measure of angle A. So here's angle A down here. We're going to have to use all the information given to figure out what that is. So we know that this is a 90-degree angle, so don't forget to add that in. And so we'll have x plus 45, x plus 55, and then just a 90-degree angle. Altogether, it adds up to 180. So combine like terms, x and x add up to 2x. 45 and 55 make 100, and then add another 90, so 190. So you just add your like terms, combine that, simplify as much as possible, and then solve the equation that you have after that. So subtract 190 from both sides, we get 2x equals -10. Divide by 2, we'll get x equals -5. Now, this time, the instructions don't say they want angle x, they want angle A. So A is x plus 45. So what we can do is we can substitute -5 in for that x. So it'd be -5 plus 45. So we would say the measure of angle A is 40 degrees. They could also have you find this one. It'd be negative 5 plus 55, so that one would have to be 50. But they only wanted angle A, so that's the only one I had to answer. Okay, last example. Remember, all three of these angles add up to 180. So I'm going to have x plus 74 plus x plus 74 plus a 40-degree angle equals 180. So x and x make 2x, 74, 74, and 40. So I'm just going to put that in really quick. It comes out 188, and then it still equals 180. Now we have a two-step equation, so we're going to try to isolate the term with the x in it by subtracting this 188 from both sides. Bring down the 2x, and this is going to equal negative 8. Divide by 2, we find out that x is negative 4. So here's my angle A. I'm going to put negative 4 in for x, so I'll have negative 4 plus 74, which means that this angle is 70 degrees. It's just like taking 74 minus 4. So if you know that the angles add up to 180 degrees, you can set it up in an equation to figure out x, and then you can use that to find